Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining the market release. My name is Anshuman Mehta. I'm a market simulation lead, and today is October 7, 2021. Calls and webinars are recorded. Some webinars are recorded for stakeholder convenience, allowing those who are unable to attend to listen to the recordings after the meetings. The recordings will be publicly available on the ISO webpage for a limited time following the meetings. The recordings and any related transcription should not be reprinted without the ISO permission. We'll talk about the following agenda today. We'll talk about map stage availability. We'll talk about the fall 2021 release market simulation initiatives and their timelines. Talk about the initiatives separately. Then we'll talk about the known issues, quick reminder about system interface changes, and then the next steps. So currently we have the following map state scheduled maintenance. On 10.8, we have CMRI, UI, and API brief interruption. We'll also have MP portal, RC portal, Western EIM portal unavailable from 5 to 9 p.m. And we have an upcoming cyber brief interruption on 15th of October. You can also get up-to-date information by logging into portalmap.kaiser.com system. Any questions regarding map stage availability? All right, moving on. For the market simulation initiatives and timelines, we are extending the support for market simulation for energy storage and distributed energy resources phase 4 implementation for one more week to 22nd of October. I have not made any other changes on the timelines for other projects. Any questions regarding the timelines? All right, moving on. This slide is showing more information regarding the structured scenario document and business requirement specification documents for real-time settlements review phase 2 project and energy storage and distributed energy resources phase 4 implementation project. Just a reminder that we have 13th of October as the remaining additional date required, if required, for testing for ESDA 4 project as an additional settlement day. Anybody has any questions regarding these two projects? All right, moving on. For these 4 projects, which we don't have structured market simulation cases, these projects we are running as unstructured market simulation. Hybrid resources phase 2A, intertie shadow pricing resolution, SUNYAM base case submission deadline phase 1, and short long start definition. Their business requirement specification documents are available here on the link. Anybody has any questions regarding these 4 projects?
This is Tim Smith from Customized Energy Solutions. A quick question. We had submitted some test cases to run, and we're wondering if you were going to be able to update the 15-minute and real-time forecasts for tomorrow.
Thank you, Tim, for bringing that up. Yes, have seen your email, and we're working on setting up the forecast for you so that you can run your cases for tomorrow's trade date.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody has any other questions? Okay, moving on. So the design gap that we found for ESDA 4 project regarding minimum UH SOC for all hours are getting discarded if a RUG generated MSOC is present for any hour. We have our SMEs present here, Thomas and Juan. Can give you a brief introduction about what is the fix that we are trying to introduce here. Juan?
Yep. Okay, so Thomas, I'm going to kind of give a brief overview, and of course, if you want to chime in or clarify something, please feel free to jump in.
Sounds good. Thank you, Juan.
So basically, what we are going to do whenever we have a mean SOC that is generated by ROC, we know that this is generated for the 24 hours of the day where we have under-gen conditions for ROC, and this goes and affects real time. And even though we might have mean SOCs of 0 value, that still impacts real time, even outside the critical hours. So that's what is being happening currently. So the change that we are doing is that we are going to observe the bits of the min and max end of fire state of charge for all the hours that are outside the critical hours. And in that one, we are going to compare them with the mean SOC generated by ROC, and we are going to keep the most restrictive ones. So this is talking about all the non-critical hours. Since ROC actually generates a mean SOC even outside critical hours, now we're going to see the value that ROC generated, and we're going to take in the bits of the min and max end of hour state of charge, compare them to that value, and then if there is any, and then we're going to keep the more restrictive ones. For example, in the case that we have a mean SOC from ROC in a non-critical hour of 0, and market participants submit, say, a minimum end of hour state of charge of 10, we're going to take the 10 instead of the 0. So whatever is more restrictive, we're going to be taking that one. So I'm going to stop right there at this point for the what is going to happen outside critical hours. And I don't know if I explained it correctly, Tomas, or if you want to clarify something.
That was correct. Thank you, Juan. Yes, like you said, outside the critical hours, we are going to enforce more restricting between the minimum end of hour SOC in the bits and generated by ROC.
Okay. Thank you, Tomas, for confirming. Any questions from the our market participants? What is going to happen in the non-critical hours?
Hello.
Hi, Juan. This is Chen Yu from PG&E. Thanks for explaining. When are we? So on the, we assume on the 13th, on the following day, look like you say the fixed day is the 12th. So we should be able to simulate the situation, right? We can test this to see if this this has been resolved.
I guess we'll have to coordinate with Anshuman. So far, we have not yet received this modification of these requirements. So we're still sitting with our software vendor. So we first have to receive it, test it, and then we'll let you know when we deploy it into map stage and it's ready for testing in map stage.
Being said that, Chunu, that is true. We are trying to get everything in before our settlement date of 10/13, so that all the market participants will be able to test it on that day. Currently, we are tracking good towards it, and I will let you know if we change anything on that.
Okay, thank you, Juan and Anshuman. So when will we know whether or not we're able to test on the 13th for this for the ROC and the gin situation?
So we are hoping to get the fix probably in, today or tomorrow, and latest by Monday. So we'll let you know as soon as we receive something and we test it. We'll update it by Monday's market simulation call.
Okay, sounds good. And I am looking at the calendar. So if for some reason you not receive a call on time or test not in your internal test not done, so if beyond 13, you can definitely give another opportunity for market participants to be able to test this, correct?
We'll have to discuss it internally, but that's reasonable. If we are not able to provide a fix by 13th, then we'll discuss internally and probably provide a new opportunity for market participants to test it on a settlement day.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.
All
Hello?
right.
Regardless of that, we are still extending the unstructured market simulation till 10/22.
Right.
Thank you, and appreciate it.
Hello?
Thank you. All right. So now, technically speaking, then we can move on to what is going to happen for the critical hours. So what we explained before, what's going to happen with the mean SOC from ROC in non-critical hours. Now I'm going to talk about what's going to happen for the interaction between the ROC mean SOC and the bits from mean and max end of hour state of charge during critical hours. So during critical hours, the application is going to throw away the mean end of hour state of charge that comes in the bit in order to enforce the mean SOC generated by ROC. And what is going to happen with the max end of hour state of charge is we are going to keep it if it is above the mean SOC from ROC. And if it is below, we're going to set it to the same value of the ROC generated mean SOC. Did I get that right, Tomas?
Yes, thank you, Juan. One comment about that is that for the max, like for what you mentioned about the max, that will be applied on all hours, non-critical and critical.
Thank you, Tomas, for clarifying.
That was exactly going to be my question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
That's great. It sounds like a good solution. It's what we would intuitively expect. So it sounds really good to me. One thing I was going to suggest is that we might want to do some additional testing. As soon as you get this in, if you can perhaps, I don't know, on the market sim call or otherwise, we can perhaps just sort of, you can just set, aside from just the official date for settlements purposes, if you can have the MSOC active for some days before that, we can verify that it's working prior to going into the kind of the test day that where we want to verify that it's working correctly and also see the settlements implications.
Juan, any comment?
I guess I would say that we would have to coordinate with you, Anshuman, whenever there is a settlement day. And remember that in this case, we have to do some manual interaction and intervention in day ahead to be able to create the undergen in ROC and create the mean SOC from ROC. So we definitely need a heads up and agree on a day where you guys can test. So, it has to be done the day before the trade date. So I suppose once we have the code deployed and tested, we can coordinate with Anshuman and we can try to do that, but we definitely need a heads up because we need to make some changes in the system.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'd forgotten there's a lot of effort involved in doing that. It would be nice to see have the ability to test that for at least a couple of days, irrespective of the settlements piece of it, which is the reason for this one day is basically so that there's a data that goes to the settlements team because of the BCR implications of this. But in terms of testing that the logic is working as desired, it would be good to be able to do that on more than just one day.
Yeah, that would be very beneficial. Yeah, that would be very beneficial. So I think we should aim for that.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be every day. It'd be nice to have at least a couple of days where we can try the different configurations of this. But as I say, I think your solution makes a lot of sense to me.
Perfect. Thank you, Alva. Any other questions anybody wants to ask?
Okay, Ashwin, this is Adrian. Just want to make a note because we had some conversation with some of the market participants, and given the enhancements that was just described by Juan and Tomas and Ashwin here, I think we're going to publish a revised BRS that reflects that change in design. we're reluctant to publish a new version of the BRS given the where we are in the life of the project here. But if that one creates clarification and add value to this, then we'll have that revised BRS posted to reflect this understanding, so that we have everyone on the same page. I just don't want to have any surprise from market participants saying why BRS is coming this late. This is something to clarify current understanding that came during the market simulation testing.
Thank you, Adrian, for the clarification. Any other questions that we can talk about here? All right, moving on. All right, so there's a quick reminder about the system interface changes. These are going to go live on production on 1st of January. These are already live in map state, so you should be able to check it out currently. Any questions regarding the system interface changes? All right, moving on. That's all I had for today's teleconference. The next one is scheduled on October 11th. Now I'll open up for any other questions that we can address here.
Hi, Anshuman and Adrian. Thank you for the announcement about the BRS. This is Chanyu. I think we will really appreciate to see the update BRS, and then also perhaps prior to when the code is available to test, we can actually take a look at the BRS and really follow one's example, like maybe also example will be providing the BRS, and we can definitely like cross-check when we do testing. So that will be very, very helpful.
Thank you, Chanyu. All right, any other questions? All right, well, thank you everyone for joining the call. We'll see you back again on October 11th.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.